but I really wanted it. And when I went there and I touched the car, like there's a difference when you touch the car and you feel it. You want it. Kind of like when you meet the girl of your dreams, Jeff, and you touch her, you know, and especially in weird places, you know that you want that art.
So bad.
And you're like, once you touch, you're like, this is gonna be mine. So I've been working hard, 18 hours a day for the past decade.
Yeah.
And what some people don't realize, and they're realizing right now, is that now, because the market changed, because the economy changed, because their industry changed, now they're being forced to work hard. We are not being forced to work hard because we're used to it. We've been working hard for the past decade.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see somebody winning year after year after year and they have the track record, I never got out of the industry in 2008. I stayed in the industry. I started mortgage and real estate in 2005. And 2008, I stayed. I didn't quit. I didn't go to a different industry. I stayed even though my income dropped. And I slept in the Ford Explorer for 2 months. I stayed in the business. 2007 got better. 2009 got better. 2010 got better. And from there on, I never looked back. Every year has been much better. But that's because I didn't quit. A quitter one time is a quitter for life. I kept working hard ever since. And what I did do is I cut bad things that I was doing. Hey guys, welcome to Driven Couples. We're back here again to talk about how do we manage stress. And you know, I think so that like I see you smiling and happy. I think you're
stressed.
I think you already accepted that life is never gonna change no matter how much money we have.
You know what?
So like I'm talking to Syl and
we can't control people.
And I was talking to Oscar about it. So we were
Sometimes
talking.
I'm like,
we were talking about like how much money we made last year. Like combined, we made a good chunk of money. And I was telling Syl earlier today, we made a good chunk of money, and it's, you know, in the $30 million range. And I like to share it because I like to talk about my experiences and the reality, and they're true facts. Like that's the number on my tax returns, on our tax returns, 30 million.
Well, and why did we start talking about that? We started talking about that just so you guys know exactly why. Because him and I have a lot of conversations, and not as many as I would like because we're always really busy and we split up a lot. But I was getting my lashes done, and my girl is telling me that her dog possibly has cancer and that she needs to find $2,000. And I'm like, I mean, personally, I think that's like nothing. $2,000 is literally pocket change right now. Obviously, before it was a lot to me because there's those levels in life that the harder the work, the more money you have, but the less time you have to actually spend it. So she was telling me that, and I said, okay, well, what do you charge for a full set? I've been going to her for a while to do my lashes because she's really good. And I've been asking her for house calls, and she kind of refuses. And so I told her today, I was like, well, whatever your full set is, divide that by 2,000, right? And that's how many people you have to see to get those $2,000 for your dog, right? And then I said, and if you want to get technical, we can offer in-house services, which I would pay $500 for someone to come to me rather than $140, $150 for me to have to drive to someone, because then that frees up my time to where I literally can be in our locker room getting my lashes filled, jump off of there, come here and get more done in my office in my day-to-day. So if she sees two clients at their house at $300 each, I would even charge $400 to go to your house. That's $800. But let's say she makes $600 a day. This girl would make $15,000 a month. She would make $180,000 a year. And that's not bad for someone that does lashes. So I explained that to her. She's like, oh my God, I hadn't really, and I'm just like, to me, it's so simple, right? But maybe not to her. So I think today she was so grateful and she was so happy. And I mean, it feels good to help people, but she has different stress than us, obviously.
And I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
Like I don't go anywhere. Like I always have everything is ordered for me. Everything is done here, or people could come to me. So like I'll tell you guys a crazy story. So I'm eating, and we're always running from thing to thing. and I run down the stairs, and Josh Altman, he's gonna be at Driven event. He like speeds here, and he's driving his Rolls Royce. I won't say the color just to keep it private, but he has a nice Rolls Royce.
Like mine?
And yes, well, it's a different kind of Rolls Royce.
Got it.
It's just as nice, but it's a different one. It's kind of like the one we used to have.
Got it.
So he speeds there, and we're like to the seconds, and he's like I have to run here, run here, and they're recording him as I meet him, and it's because our time is just bam, 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 bam. So I'm eating right before, and I'm doing a lot of things. Like me and Wally was helping with a few things in the morning, and da 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 da. So I did cardio in the morning. I did some stairs. Got dressed up. I have to get a workout later, and because I have 2 workouts a day. So I run down, and then I'm talking to Josh, and he's like, I gotta, like, he was not in the rush. We started talking, but then we started talking because he said he had like 5 minutes because he needs to get back. They're recording him. He had a camera on the car, and then he starts talking. You know, like kind of when you meet people, then people start talking.
Yeah.
So then he starts talking and I'm like, oh, fuck, I thought you had 5 minutes, but he starts talking, and now I'm in a hurry, so because I have to come back up, and then it's crazy because I have security next to me because of, you know how it is now. My life now is a little bit different, which that's the sucky part, that once you become more successful, now you have to watch out for attacks. People want to attack you in many ways that I could get into, but so I'm there. And I'm in a hurry now. I gotta get up. Then we get up. Then we're running to this, and then we have a million things going on. So, and then we have Driven starts tomorrow. So tomorrow is the CEO day, and then we have Saturday, and then we have Sunday, and we have and then so many other things. So I think you already accepted, and then we have a baby on the way. You already accepted that life, the more you grow, the more successful you become, the more wealth you build, it just becomes more and more and more busy. Yeah. Like it doesn't slow down. But what happens is people become wealthy and successful because they are able to handle more. So you get better, you increase your capacity, and you just do more, and you get used to doing so much like that for you it becomes normal to wake up early and go to sleep late, get 6 hours of sleep. That's all I need. And then get back and continue. And every day you're going to feel like it's not enough. Then you have the next day and it's not enough. And then you have the next day, but every day, because we are so busy and we handle so many things and every second counts, that we continue to grow and grow and grow. And then you see the people that stay stuck.
The same.
But a lot of that has to do with stress, because sometimes when you get stressed out, you stop. If you want to find somebody that's stressed out, just look at last year. They used to post a lot on social media. They used to be very active. They used to drive nice cars, to have nice things, and they used to talk a big game. And now all of a sudden today, you don't see them talking a big game. Now you don't see them driving the nice cars. Now you see them talking down about people that have a big game. And now you see them posting less. Now you see their eyes look a little bit watery, not so focused, not so confident. And I can see that. So stress, it stops people.
Yeah.
And it slows them down, and then people can't handle it, and then they end up quitting. For us, we stay so busy, and I think one of the top keys to not being stressed is being overwhelmingly busy, because you have no time to think about gossip, drama, the news, what people are talking about, because you are so busy creating things. You're creating money. You're creating millions, that you have no time to think about any nonsense. You're just busy, 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 busy. After this, I got a packed schedule. So do you. So it was just crazy because me and Josh are talking back and forth, and we're like both in a hurry. And first he's in a hurry, then I'm in a hurry. And then we're like, oh, okay. He's asking me about the event. He's so excited. But yeah, every successful person, they just are able to do more and more and more as they become more successful.
Well, you value your time more, right? And it's something that's extremely important, because a lot of people don't value their time, and you have to value your time because you don't get it back. So that's why for me, you know, if I can get this lash girl to come to me, which I've been trying for a long time, because ladies, you know, if you get your lashes done, how hard it is to find a good tech that actually knows what they're doing. They've had enough training to where it's a good job, it's a good outcome, and I'll pay her $500 to come to me. I will. I prefer that than for me to drive 20 minutes to her, lay there for an hour and a half, sometimes 2, which is awful, and then drive 20 minutes back, because in that hour I can do so much more. And obviously my hour is worth a lot more than the $500 that I would be paying her to come to me, right? So Albert's been telling me, but I'm like, I can't find a good person. I've tried it before and they just suck. So valuing your time is super, super, super important. Having the right mindset is super important. I personally, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I do get stressed out. He gets mad at me because he's like, why do you worry about the things you can't control? And I'm like, because people piss me off. You know, to me, it's like, you don't have to be so smart to figure certain things out. You just have to be willing to learn these things, to want to be better and to want to improve, because most people are okay staying the same. Like he said, you know, him and I do a lot of heavy pulling, you know, and we put people in our bubble where everything is possible. It's a realistic outcome of everything that we can do and create in this life, but it's going to take everything you have, right? And you have to make the right choices. You have to control your stress levels, and you have to plan properly. So for me, we have a big staff. Like, Driven event is around the corner. I'm like, that's why I'm on that adrenaline rush right now. Normally I'd be like super annoyed because, you know, we're a little late or whatever, but I'm just like, okay, I'm thinking of all the 50 things on my checklist in my head, because I don't have my checklist in front of me, and I'm just like, shoot, like there's so much to do. We have a pretty big team, you know, but I still like to be on top of everything, because I really believe that beauty is in the detail as well as execution, right? And we're also doing our gender reveal on stage, which I'm like shaking. I can't wait to know what we're having. Like, I'm so excited. It's so weird. And I really want it to be a boy, but even if it's a girl, I'll still be happy. But that means I would have to have another baby, and I don't really want to have another baby. So yeah, anyway, hoping for a boy. So if you're going to be there at Driven, I will see you guys Sunday before the Q&A. We're doing our gender reveal. So yeah, I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. Are you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to be a father again, but I don't mind a girl or a boy. I just want it to be healthy.
Yeah.
So having said that, you said something about focusing on things you could control.
Yeah.
And not things you can't control.
I try to control everything, but
she does. And I don't and I detach very easily from things that I can't control. I can't control things. So when somebody does something, or somebody makes a decision or an action, I'm totally cool with it, because I'm like, okay, well, that's them. I can't control them, but I could control how I react, and I could control what I do about it. So I always focus on things I could control. And you know, like I said, we were talking about staying overly busy. Like, I lost track. Like, it came to the point where I lost, especially the last couple of weeks, or the last week, I just lost track of where I'm at. like I don't know where I live. I don't know.
I know.
I don't know if I'm dreaming or if I'm awake.
I know.
I don't know. Like, because this could be a dream, because this office is a dream.
It's not a dream. It's real.
Like, we have a dream office. Like, we have our studios. We have a bar now that's fully done, with a pool table, a gym,
almost
the locker room.
Tables will be in.
It's just crazy. Yeah. And then I feel like I don't know. Like, it just feels like, and like, it's unreal. Like, it looks like it's the dream life I've always wanted. So it feels like a game. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know why we're talking about this, but
me neither.
but like, I've been sleeping later, and then I wake up. I get my 6 hours. So, like, let's say I've been sleeping like at 12, then I wake up at 6.
Well, it's kind of hard to sleep around these days. Would you agree? And I don't think that's
I've been sleeping better.
Yeah?
I've been sleeping better, but my point is that, like, I'll sleep 6 hours, so I'll sleep at 10 p.m. I'll wake up at 4. Then I'll sleep at 12. I'll wake up at 6. All I need is 6 hours, and I'm very fresh for a long period of hours. So, like, I wake up and I don't even know what day it is. I don't know what day it is today. Like, I don't know what day it is. I think we're in October or something like that.
Oh, today's Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, Thursday. And the thing is that even though
wait, but why did you meet Altman? I'm confused.
I met him for a quick chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a guy thing.
Yeah, we exchanged some stuff.
Got it.
But we feel like we have so many things to work on. But if you think about it, every week goes so fast because we have systems and processes. So even though she is a genius in operations, she's the best in operations, and she's always on every department. Like, hey, this is this. We got to improve this. We got to fix this. We got to improve this. It's always about improvement. But if you think about it, like every Thursday, it's like magic. Boom. This is what we got to pay. Boom. It gets done. I don't even do anything. I just kind of check. It's good.
We'll
Let's
get
do
ready
it.
because there's a lot of payments coming right now for Driven.
And then there's a lot of money coming in for Driven. So this is one of the things that I'm going to talk about at Driven, because I had the balls to create this Driven event, and because I had the balls to spend $1 million on this event years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Last year was hot.
Last year was over $1 million. So because I did that, and because we started Driven 2017, it created a brand for Ambiance Realty and for TMG, the mortgage guys, which is now going to become TMG Lending, and my personal brand, her personal brand, and the personal brand of everybody and a lot of people that are part of the company. So because Driven event happened, I focused on revenue, not on expenses. See, so this is the biggest mistake most people make. You focus on expenses. This is one thing that Syl likes to talk about a lot sometimes, and she gets stressed out about expenses. I don't get stressed about expenses or costs because I focus 95% of my time on generating more sales, on income, on revenue. When you spend 95% of your day focused on creating more sales, more money, more income, you have no worry about expenses because you could afford anything. If you have to pay something, make money, make a sale, close a deal. So 95% of your time focus on generating income and 5% on expenses. I could care less about spending any type of penny.
I know. Yeah, he's a little bit crazy. For me, I'm like, okay, if I add an extra 5,000 expense to this service, if you will, I'm like, okay, what is going to be the return? Like, what is our return in the investment? Is it necessary or not? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's how much money you keep, right? That you put aside to then start investing, which is something that I'm super excited about. I cannot wait for this year. We have to buy a lot of real estate. So for me, it's super exciting because I love real estate. That's why I got in the industry. I love passive income. I also love working, but I was thinking about the message from our new agent. We have a lot of new people in the company and just how grateful she is. And see, those are the kind of people that you want in your life. And people like that make all the stress, at least on my end, worth it, because there's going to be ungrateful people that you help, and then there's going to be the grateful people that are going to be loyal. They're going to be good to you. You're going to be good to them, and they're going to be good to you. You're going to make life good for them, and they're going to make life good for you, right? Because that's the whole point, having competent, smart, grateful, happy, pleasant people around is important, because him and I can only drag along, and we've done this, I can't explain to you guys, for years, dragged people along where him and I had a conversation the other day, and it's stressful. For me, it is, because I'm like, hey this, hey that, hey reminder, hey again, hey for the 10th time, hey for the 20th time. And, I'm patient, but not that patient, because him and I have big goals, big dreams, and we're going to bring everybody that's willing to put in the work with us. Because the biggest misconception is people wanting a certain level of success without realizing the type of work, effort, energy that it's going to take every single day, you guys. And I'm talking every single freaking day. Even when we're not here, I'm always thinking about work, which I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm just like, God, because I get stressed out. He doesn't get stressed out. And he gets mad at me, but I'm like, Albert, like, I have a sense of urgency, which most people lack. It's absolutely insane, right? Discipline, you have to have discipline. It's like going to the gym when you don't feel like it. For me, I'm like, I'd rather come to the office and get my stuff done when I'm on a deadline. And he will have his workout no matter what, because he's super disciplined. Even with food, he's like, if you guys seen Albert eat, he's been eating the same thing for since I met him. Just chicken with no flavor, broccoli. Now at least you eat a little bit of rice, but it's just so many different things, guys. And right now I'm rambling because I want the hour to go by.
but I
'Cause
I
have so
never
many
I never
things to
I
do.
never said that I don't like I never when I don't work out and I have things to do, I work out later. Like today I
Yeah,
have to work
yeah,
out later, so
yeah.
I just get my workout and it's called not non-negotiables. But
Yeah. I gotta make sure the full runner show is
uh,
good.
also
Everything,
also
logistics.
the rice, I started eating carbs. So
Yeah.
what that has helped me with is my brain. My memory is better, so now when I'm speaking and talking, like I remember things faster. It's almost like I have that superpower. Like
Yeah.
yesterday I did a 1 hour and 10 minute podcast with the hip hop preacher with Eric Thomas.
I heard it was so good.
And I was like, it's almost like I see everything in slow motion. Like I see everything in slow motion. Like I feel like even with Eric Thomas and all the greats, I see everything in slow motion. So he's talking to me, I'm processing it at a fast pace, which slows down everything. And I know what's the next question. What am I gonna counter with? And I'm learning too like that. So I see everything in slow motion. Like when I go up on stage, I see everything in slow motion. Like I see people in slow motion. I read the crowd. I know what to say. I know how to change my mood, my tone of voice. I know how to pick up people. I know how to get people's attention. I know when to throw a joke, when not to, when to be serious, when to up the pitch, low the pitch. So all of that is because all the self-improvement I've done. So it's very important for you to get better every day. Get better every day. Try to get 1% better a day, and remember that it's not that I don't get stressed out, Syl. The thing is that I am so busy. I'm just every second I'm like bam, 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 bam from one thing to another. I don't have time to get stressed out because I'm always jumping into one more thing. And what makes me and Syl so powerful is that she focuses on all the things I don't, and I focus on all the things she doesn't. Mm-hmm. And those happen to be my strengths, and those happen to be her strengths.
That's right.
So she's killing it with operations, and I'm killing it with sales, and it makes us unstoppable. There is no couple like us. No couple like us exists that is our age or younger. Like maybe
So cute.
maybe 60-year-olds. There's some of them, but there is no couple like us that has accomplished what we have at this age. And if you have somebody, post them right there, comment, tag them, because there isn't.
Do a driven
I
couple.
believe that there is no couple more powerful than us. I believe so. So
That's because you love me.
one thing that I focus on are priorities, because every day when I finish my day, I think about all the things I didn't complete. But I carry a notebook with me all the time. I don't know if my team has seen me with a red notebook I carry all the time. That notebook is worth at least $1 million.
The driven notebook?
Yeah, and it's, so if anybody steals that notebook, it's worth $1 million.
If they can
at
read his
least.
writing. So
And what happens is that notebook, I write all of the things that I have to do in a day, and then I put a star next to all the veggies, all the important things that are going to pay me the biggest bucks. So I make sure that if I can't finish all the things, I finish all the things with a star. And those are the priorities that are going to pay me millions. So I always focus on those first. I do the hard things first, and then I add all the other stuff later. But that notebook, and then on the right side, I write notes. And that notebook is worth like $1 million. So if you ever see that notebook, please leave it alone. And what happens is after I go through a notebook, I get another notebook, and I just throw that notebook in the trash.
Well, the notebooks for this year are so nice. They were super expensive, but they're beautiful. If you're a CEO, you're gonna love the notebooks. Even the VIP ones they're just not gold, but they're stunning.
And I'll give you guys a tip. I'm breaking in my shoes for Driven, so I got these red bottoms. See, so these are brown. Breaking them in. I don't know if you guys can see it, but got these shoes. I'm gonna wear the black ones later, when I have my second workout, to break them in. But
you have to break them in?
I look for, because I learned through experience. Everything, you got to understand that I'm in my late 30s.
You're going to be
Okay?
40.
I'm in my late 30s, so I got a lot of experience now. I'm a bit wiser. I learned a lot. You know, like I said in the beginning of the show, last year, you know, we did around 30 million, and I learned a lot, and that's a big number, and I'm proud of. And I could break it down, but I'm not here to talk about that right now. But I have credibility, and I have a business acumen, and I have success, and I've proven success year after year. This is Driven 6. We're going on Driven 7. So my hope is that I can help you by giving you the knowledge through my experience and helping you not make the same mistakes I made that could have put me out of business, that could have taken my life. I mean, I had everything happen to me. I should be dead right now 100 times. So I was able to survive all of that. So I learned through experience. So like every event, I learned something. And one thing that I learned already a couple times is that sometimes when you wear new shoes and you break them in at the event and they're brand new, they'll scrape you or they'll cut you because they're not comfortable and you have to break them in. So now I do that before the event because I want to make sure
dealing with this.
I want to make sure that because the presentation that I have prepared for you guys for this driven is going to make all of you guys cry. It's going to make all of you guys cry, and you're going to get so much value, and it will be the best presentation of all speakers. I guarantee it.
I'm excited for it. So I was hearing this YouTube on high achievers that it's really it was like
before you get into that, if you guys have any questions, send you the question through the Zoom. That way we could answer a couple questions live before we get off this Zoom. Steph, you got some questions right there?
On managing stress.
So it's about stress. So go ahead. You were talking about.
So yeah, I was saying, and it says it was talking about how it's very, very, very hard to be a high achiever, right? And it's so true because it is super, super hard, right? We all want to just be like, like some days we'll wake up and he'll be like, I just want to go to Hotel Bel Air and have drinks and hang out and go on a date with you. And
mimosas.
And then I start.
Not drinks.
Mimosas. And then I start thinking about it. And for 2 seconds, I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then for the other
That's because you can't drink right now.
Yeah, exactly. And for the other 2 seconds, I'm like, okay, but we have to do. And when you have so many things to do, for me personally, I like to get them done and out of the way, right? I don't like to leave them for tomorrow. And most people will leave them for tomorrow. Most people will skip a doc signing or whatever, something related to their work, to go out and have dinner, when it makes no sense. Because think about it. Your work should be your number one priority because it's how you make money. It's how you're going to get the capital to then, whatever it is that you really want to be in, whether it's investing, whatever other goals you have to prioritize your money, your business, your whatever it is that you do for a living. And this just means anything. If you're a waitress picking up an extra shift, if you're a truck driver, an extra delivery, like blah, it just goes on and on and on. Extra appointments, because that leads into extra money, extra income, and it builds the discipline, because without discipline, you literally cannot do anything. And for us, discipline has always been so huge, and our priorities have always been very, very clear. And our business has always been our number one priority. And I'm not saying we're perfect, because we also make mistakes and we mess up. And could there have been things that we can change? Absolutely. Are there people that need to be cut sooner than later? Absolutely. When we're like, no, we're going to help them. We're going to help them. Some people are not ready for help. They don't want help. And then there's the people that just want to use you for a little bit and then move on, which is totally cool, as long as you do it in a good way, But work is your number one, should be your number one priority, because then you provide for your family. And most people, at least speaking from our experience, most people are born poor. But people stay poor because why? Because you're not changing any of the habits. You're not sacrificing anything. You're not prioritizing your work. You're not being disciplined with the things that you say you're going to do, And they talk about this, it's so good. It talks about visualization. So when you visualize, that's something that he's really good at. Albert, it's crazy. It could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take 3 years, but everything he says becomes a reality, which sometimes is kind of scary. And I'm right beside you, making sure that these plans get executed, right?
So let me ask you a question. Did you ever think we would live in Bel Air, like when we had a 1-bedroom apartment?
I don't know. I never really thought about
Hotel
it.
Bel Air?
Not necessarily Bel Air, no.
When we got our first satellite office, that was $1,500 a month. Did you ever think that we would have the entire floor of the Sunset Towers?
I've always wanted to.
Did you ever think that we would have when we bought when I got a pre-owned little 458?
Te voy a aventar.
Did you ever think we would have $1 million SF90?
So this is the thing, something that I talk about all the time. I've always been a super happy person, focused in my day, focused on maximizing my day. And
did you ever think we would be going on Driven 7 years? Did you ever think we
No.
would be flying private?
No.
Did you ever think we would have
I
all
never
the
thought about it
relationships?
because I didn't know that.
All the
any of it.
relationships that we've had met, stayed in their house, that have came to our house.
This is something that I've learned. Luxuries, you don't really know how necessary they are until you've had them. Because to me, personally, I was happy in my first little, it was like a C300, like a little Mercedes that I bought with a lot of savings. My grandma let me borrow money. And then from there, I kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And I was always happy though. See, that's the thing. And of course, absolutely, 100%. I always liked nice things and I always knew I wanted to be super, super rich. But I never not specifically said Bel Air or, of course, Beverly Hills. But West Hollywood was good enough. Like, we would come here, we would drive here, and it's when we had a lot less to do. We didn't have kids. We would come and hike like at freaking midday. Like, who has time for that? We obviously don't have that kind of time now, but
we didn't value our time.
We would sneak into like West Hollywood and start visualizing and feeling. And then he's always the one that's like, let's just go look at this apartment. Go look at it. And you know what? I'm just going to go look at it means we're going to go get it. That's him. Like when I was in Victoria's Secret and the first Ferrari, you remember you went with someone that's no longer with us, but he calls me. He's like, babe, I'm at Ferrari just checking out the cars. I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. And he bought a Ferrari. So true or not true? He always does that. Like, Albert just jumps in. See, me, I'm like, I like to, see what the payment's going to look like, what it is. But, the more responsibilities you have, the harder you're going to have to work, the more hours you put in.
Well, the thing is, still, like I'll add to that really quick before we get into questions.
Super stressful. You
like,
stress
when
me
I
out.
when I went to get that 458, I knew that it was a long shot. I thought it was like no way that I could qualify for it. So I said, okay, well, I don't have much money, so I'll just put $5,000, which is probably as much as I had.
No,
I put
you
those
had
five,
way more. For
no,
the Ferrari?
I like maybe 30, 40 grand.
42 grand.
So I put $5,000 as a deposit, and I said, well, I'll leave this here. It's not like I have a lot of money anyways, and let them qualify me. I'm not going to qualify anyways, but I really wanted it. And when I went there and I touched the car, like, there's a difference when you touch the car and you feel it. You want it. Kind of like when you meet the girl of your dreams, Jeff, and you touch her, and especially in weird places, you know that you want that art.
Are so bad.
And you're like, once you touch, you're like, this is going to be mine. So I touched the red Ferrari, and I got pre-approved for, say, I signed up for the pre-approval process for the Ferrari, left $5,000, left, and then they came back and they said, you don't qualify. And then they called me
42.
again a week later and they said, yeah, you need like you needed $39,000. So I said, fuck, $39,000. So I gave $5,000, so I need $34,000 more. And something that I always do, I don't know why, but I said, okay, well, I'm gonna use all the money that I have, and I got the cashier's check, I got the car, and I drove off with the car. And then I was like I really said, like if I fucked up.
This is 5 years ago. Almost 6 years ago.
This was in
I
2015.
With Italia,
2015, so it's way more than that.
I was pregnant with
It's
Italia.
like 7 years ago. So
No, Italia's
gonna be 6. So
I was barely pregnant then.
So I said, if they repossess the car, it won't be the first time, but at least I know what it feels like to get the car of my dreams. Just like when you say, fuck it, this girl is driving me crazy, it's the girl of my dreams, I'm gonna go for it, and then the consequences, you figure them out later. So I got the car, and then once I got the car, everything started paying off. So, but the thing is that I knew that I could keep the car because I was so used to working hard. So I've been working hard 18 hours a day for the past decade.
Yeah.
And what some people don't realize, and they're realizing right now, is that now, because the market changed, because the economy changed, because their industry changed, now they're being forced to work hard. We are not being forced to work hard because we're used to it. We've been working hard for the past decade.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see somebody winning year after year after year and they have the track record, I never got out of the industry in 2008. I stayed in the industry. I started mortgage and real estate in 2005. And 2008, I stayed. I didn't quit. I didn't go to a different industry. I stayed even though my income dropped. And I slept in the Ford Explorer for 2 months. I stayed in the business. 2007 got better. 2009 got better. 2010 got better. And from there on, I never looked back. Every year has been much better. But that's because I didn't quit. A quitter one time is a quitter for life. I kept working hard ever since. And what I did do is I cut bad things that I was doing. I cut bad people in 2008. And then funny.
With my help.
Funny, because then I allowed some of those people back, and now I cut them again.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that I don't take people back, and I stand for that. Because every time I let somebody back in, I find out that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
So that's why when somebody leaves me,
I feel bad for people, but then
I don't take them back. I'm sorry, but I don't take them back. And I should have listened, and I should have been loyal to my principles and values, because when people leave, I don't take them back. And if you're watching this, I won't take you back. So all of this stuff, it works, guys. Like, just see how we're taking off, and all of everybody that's part of us is winning. You know, like, it's not just me and Syl. You have people under us that have been coachable, and they executed driving nice cars. You have one right here in back of us. You know, she works hard. She got her dream car, the Vet, right? You got a nice car. Yeah, she works hard. You know,
she's a brand new. I'm like, why? I would just get it. With
you got people. You got Oscar. You got Patty. You got Eli and Mike.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people, and those people. And it's funny because some of those people that weren't coachable fully, and they're not part of our life anymore. They don't have their assets anymore, or their whatever they call that. So it's all about being coachable, remaining coachable, and trusting the process, because the process takes longer. But now a lot. Aggressively patient. So what happens is that these people that quit are now being forced to work hard because of the conditions of the market and the economy and their industry. We are not forced to work any harder because we can't work any harder, because we do sleep 6 hours, and we have those 18 hours to continue to like bust our asses, because we've been doing that for the past decade. So the only difference that we got to do is not work harder, because there's no way we could work any harder.
Smarter.
We got to say no to more people. We got to say no to more events. We got to say no to more dinners. We got to say no to more lunches, and cut certain people out of our lives.
Yeah. So can I ask you is there any questions, Steph? So before we take this question, so let me ask you something, because see, failure is part of growth. People are scared to fail, but it's just learning. Failing is learning. That's all that it is, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. You should not be ashamed of failure. Now, when your car, because I remember I lent him, because I love music, and ever since I met him, like, he would make me like CDs and burn me like iPods and I don't know, whatever. He used to do it on his computer, and to me it was like amazing, because I'm not like a very high-tech person. And I remember, Albert, that one of the music things, it was in your car, and I was so sad because you told me your car got repossessed. So was it stressful, like, watching it be taken away from your driveway? Like, that has to be stressful. That was when I met him.
It wasn't stressful. It was very painful. So when they repossessed the car, I watched them just
pick it up.
The tow truck went there, and they just took my S550, I had an S550 that I bought when I was in 2006. I lost it, and it got repossessed in 2008. And I saw through they went and knocked on my door, and I didn't open. And then I looked through the little blinds, and then I saw them just towing it, and it hurt me. Like, it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart. And that day, I knew that my house was going to get foreclosed also any moment. So every day I would go on a run, because I always ran.
Both of your houses, right?
Yeah. But the house where I lived in Sierra Madre, 261 Grove Street, you could look it up, 261 Grove Street in California, got repossessed in 2008. And I used to go and run 4 miles. I would run all the way down to the freeway to the 210 and run back up 4 miles. And I remembered that every day I would go run, and I would just think about all the things that I did wrong, all the things that I can't do anymore. And I would just think, this could be my last day in this house. They're gonna foreclose at any moment. So I would cry. So I would run, and I would be crying when I was running, and I would feel all the pain.
I didn't know that.
And I would say like, I never want to be in this position ever again. and I never want to be in this pain again because it feels nasty. It's a nasty feeling when they take all your stuff away. So that's what happened. I got really motivated, and I made a commitment to never do that again.
That would have not have happened. No way ever, Jose. That would.
I met you when I was losing everything. We were both party animals.
But I was a smart party animal. I've always been pretty smart. So calculated everything with me.
I think we both grown a lot.
Absolutely, but we make each other better. But I remember the plans, los que te hizo Héctor. You remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, yeah, that was like $5,000.
I'll talk about that.
Shit. Yeah, so this house had a huge lot in the back. And if you guys aren't familiar with Sierra Madre, it's like a super chill community by San Dimas, by Pasadena area, in the mountains or like the hills or whatever. And I remember looking at these plans because I've always been interested in real estate. Like, I love homes, I love real estate, I love fancy things, nice things. And I remember looking at them, and he was going to build in the back, what was it, like a second home? Like a guest house?
I was gonna turn this 800 square foot home
into a 5,000
into like a 5,000 square foot home. That was gonna be it was gonna be worth I think $2 million, about $2 million,
and you got it for
I got it for 700,000. Yeah.
So just imagine, like, it's crazy to think, like, so he blew all the money partying. And you were super young, so I mean, we also can't really blame you, right?
I was 24.
Yeah, that's pretty young. I mean, for him to have
just so you guys get an idea, when I turned 21, I was a loan officer, and I was making $260,000 a year. I bought a brand new S550 at 21, and I bought 2 homes at 21. So that's what I was doing at 21.
And if you're familiar with the industry, whether it's real estate or mortgages, so his first month, and this is how you know when people are going to be successful, because I talked to a lot of people that knew him in the past when he got into the industry, and some of them are still title reps, some of them are escrow officers, and they remember Albert because they're like, yeah, you could see the hunger in his eyes, like the fire, like the willingness, the grit, basically. He closed 4 deals his first month, not knowing anything. It's freaking crazy. It's mind-blowing because it's hard to close your first month when you're brand new into the industry. So knowing that, it's so impressive, especially now because, we have a lot of new people that join the company. Most of them, I would say 60% of the people don't really have what it takes. And not because they don't want to, because we all want to, but they're not willing to put in the work, the steps, the long, calling at night for hours, because that's what he would do, and it's just super, super impressive. But anyway, so it wasn't stressful, or it was stressful watching it go away. It was painful.
I said it wasn't stressful. It was painful.
Painful. Yeah. I would have been like freaking out because I freak out. I get stressed out over everything. Anyway, so what's the question, Steph? Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
What's up, Jeff? We can't hear you.
Hold on, Jeff. Hold on, Jeff. Okay, now we could hear you.
Okay, good. Well, hey, I can't believe you guys are doing Driven Couples on the day before Driven. We're flying out tomorrow. My question, though, not to like do grandstand stage the mic like I always do, is basically, so right now I get people who I'm like you, Albert, a lot. Whenever I listen to you, I'm so like I feel like I'm a white version of you, where I don't stress out about anything. When I was losing my 4 unit, when the guy laid me off, and everything
we're also both very good looking.
Right? 2 good looking guys, man. We both get fabulous looking ladies. I mean, and I actually have one of the girls in here, the chat right now, Jasenia, who I actually met at Driven weekend year ago. Oh. So one of the girls of my dreams, she was the wedding day. She actually has a Driven hat. I gave her one of the hats from last year. Nice. So I'm actually a little bit nervous doing this. But the question is, let's say I have her on my squad. She's working with me. I have someone right now, and they stress about everything. As you're growing your business, money goes up and down. Patrick and David, I do a lot of stuff with them. So glad you have him, Eric Thomas, anybody who hasn't had a ticket. If there's anything left, definitely come to Long Beach and see me there. But how do you communicate the money situation with like your close, obviously your controller and your executive assistant, because they kind of freak out. I don't freak out at any I just know we're just gonna keep selling and doing it. I'm driven like you, but I have a lot of people like, Jeff, we can't do this. You can't, spend the money in advertising. Why are you spending $2,500 on back end stuff? Right? Oh my God. I'm like, dude, we're just going to do it. So how do you communicate when someone gets stressed out that just relax without saying relax? When you say relax to a girl, they hate it. I've learned that.
So I used to have an accountant, an accountant from Argentina. When we opened TMG and we got our first real office, that was $5,000 a month. And that's when we kind of started doing better. So we invested in a better office because we had a satellite office that was like $1,500 a month. So we got a bigger office, $5,000 a month across the street, which is now our escrow company. And we hired more people. And then I hired my accountant that was from Argentina. And I know that he would get very stressed out because he would be like, shit, we have to pay people Friday and we're like very tight. And he would be like he would get stressed out, and I would never be stressed out. So I would always have a straight face of confidence. So when you as a leader have that face of confidence, you give that confidence to all your people. So I would always tell them, hey, we're going to be all right. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. But I had confidence. There's people that just bullshit, and there's people that really have confidence. But I had confidence because I started investing in mentors. So all the stuff that I was doing, I was listening to my mentors. So I had good mentors, and that's what saved me because I had the blueprint. And when you have the blueprint, you know that you're making the right decision. And sometimes, you got to take some risks. But when you run it by a mentor and you get that okay, then you have 2 check marks and you could go for that risk, take it, and then you grow. But in the beginning, it's going to be like that because in the beginning, you're going to be more low on funds than usual, than having extra funds. So you're just going to have to fight. That's why they do say, Jeff, that the first year, 2, 3 years, 5 years in business are the toughest. Once you get past the 5 years, then you're like, okay, I made it to that next step. Then when you get 10 years, that's another level. And then that's why when you have a proven track record, that speaks for itself.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's very, very, very helpful. I think a lot of times I would always match people's intensity, and at the same time, having mentors, and like you guys have changed my life in so many different ways, and I can't wait for tomorrow's event. 100%. By the way, how happy are you that you have an event planner and you're not like spaz out and then the gender reveal on Sunday?
Kind of happy. It helps. It's still a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure with the way you make it beautiful. So,
yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jeff. And one thing that to add to like operations, like sales operations, is that even when you have high level employees, like for example, you have employees and you have the high level C employees, like the, let's say CFOs, presidents, and there's all kinds of those type of high level employees. You can't expect them to know what to do without direction. Like even though you pay them and they're high level employees and you pay them a lot, you always have to give direction. So if you don't give direction, then your business will sink. So when you're in charge of your department, like let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say Steph's in charge of marketing, just an example. Like she needs to give direction. So like we give direction to Steph. She needs to give direction to her team. Let's say our team of in the video editing department, there might be a leader there that gives direction to the rest. Accounting needs direction. So that never ends. And you always have to give direction, even if they are paid a lot and you think, oh, I'm paying this person X amount of money, maybe $100,000, maybe $200,000, maybe $50,000, whatever that case is. You still have to give direction, because 100%. If you don't give direction, then you're just wasting all that money and your ship is going to sink. So you as the leader always have to give direction. It's never going to end.
And nobody's going to care for the company money as much as obviously the owners. That's just how it goes. Think about it. Nobody's going to care making sure this is good, making sure this is without being wasteful, because that's something that I'm really great at. and I make sure everything is to the T. And what does that require? It requires extra work, extra preparation, extra looking at documents, extra quotes, extra information, extra phone calls. And people aren't willing to do that. See, for me, it's like, I don't want to pay $100 extra if I don't have to, $1,000 extra if I don't have to. However, I will pay an extra 10 grand if those 10 grand, the result we're going to get is a big one. That's why if you go to our events are not low budget. They're very high end, high class, because I personally believe if you're going to do something, you're going to do it right. Like, you don't want to be known as a half-ass person ever. You know, and a lot of people, like, I see events and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why would you even, like, honestly, like, why? Like, why have 4 when you can have 2? You know, put the budget, instead of divided into 4, divide it into 2, or do one really good event where you're using all the funds here, but it builds your reputation, it builds a standard, right? And like, for me, I'm like, yeah, things are super expensive. Absolutely 100%. But I know where we have to spend and where we can cut back, if that makes any sense. And little details go a very, very long way. And if you guys have been to a driven event, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's nice to have extra help, but no matter how much people you have on your team, I still like to double verify and make sure that the little details are on lock. And what's the reason for that? Because I always feel like it could have been better. I'm that person, and it kind of sucks because it's a lot of work, but I always feel that things can be better, and I like to improve, and you should improve year after year after year after year. But if you're not willing to put in the work, then things don't get better, and you're always just kind of average.
Yeah, and Jeff, one thing that I like about you is that you always put yourself in situations where you have no choice. So like, that's how I did it. And I remember you, like, you always have questions at the events. You have a lot of great questions, and you're always there getting attention. That's what I used to do with Grant Cardone like 8 years ago.
Albert, you taught me that.
Yeah,
I got that from you, man. It's in your book. So this is the thing. When you come to events and you take work and put in that book, take action with stuff in the book, man. That's how you get there. I actually closed the deal at the Vol just recently because I asked a question to Robert Kiyosaki doing that. I said, this is Jeff the Entrepreneur. I do personal branding. The guy was out on an island with his coach. The girl said he needed personal branding. Just because I said those words, he said, I remember how you communicated, booked it on, and that was AK sale right there, you know, by asking one question.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So keep doing that. I started doing that with Grant, and one thing is that, look, with there's a lot of mortgage brokers that are doing horrible and went out of business already, and they're just out. And the same thing with real estate brokerages, they're out. There's really no competition, like no competition. We have to go now and compare ourselves, which our next target now, because we won the battles with all the little shops like that. Our next target is Rocket Mortgage, multi-billion-dollar mortgage lender, and Keller Williams, biggest real estate company out. Those are our targets now. And when we started from nothing, we said we're going to be the best mortgage broker, and everybody laughed at us. Now we're the best. Everybody said, we said Ambiance is going to be one of the biggest real estate companies. And it's happening. And you know why? Because when times got tough, like right now, because we built a brand through Driven, it skyrocketed all the companies and everything we do. All the relationships that we met. Like everything that has to do with marketing and branding was because of Driven. And guess what? I had a buddy that I thought was really close to me, could have been 50% owner of Driven. But this buddy turned it down, ex-buddy. He turned it down because I needed 25 grand. I had 25 grand. I needed an extra 25 grand. This ex-buddy didn't want to do it. So I said, okay, I'm going for it anyways. I put 25 grand on a credit card that I got, and I didn't have that credit card, but I figured it out, put 25 grand on that credit card. I had another 25 grand, and again, emptied all my reserves. We did Driven, and we didn't have the rest of the money to make Driven 17 happen. We didn't have the rest of the money because we put 25 grand, 25K was on credit, no reserves. And then you could imagine how everybody was scared because we were running TMG and Ambiance already. We needed reserves for that company. We didn't have any reserves, but I took that risk. Our taxes weren't even complete. I was a mess. But one thing that I had was courage. I had balls. And I went for it. And I always kept all the stress inside me to allow my team to work stress-free. And I didn't bring up a lot of things because I wanted to take on that pressure because I love pressure. When you have pressure, like the finals, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, they thrive with pressure. I thrive with pressure. So we made Driven happen, and then everybody was asking me, well, so how are you going to come up with the rest of the money? This is just a deposit for the Ritz. We need the rest of the down payment. We still need to pay Grant his other 50%. So, and we still have to pay AV lighting, all that, because we're gonna do like another 10x. We're not doing just a regular event. This has to be like 10x. So how are we gonna do that? It's going to cost a lot of money. We only put 50 grand down so far. We're going to need a lot more than that. So my answer to Syl was, well, I'm just going to make some sales and I'll just come up with the rest. As the day goes, I'll make sales and I'll fund the event with sales. I didn't have Steph back then. So I created this Eventbrite. I started doing lives, had 5 people on the lives and sometimes 2 people. And then we got no sales in 48 hours. Then finally we sold a super VIP ticket, and from there on we never looked back.
Yeah.
And now this Driven event, we're going on Driven 7, and you guys seen how big it is now. And 25 grand, this dude could have been 50% owner, but God rewards those with big balls and with execution and with heart.
Yep. Does anybody have any other questions? We have about 6 minutes left on the live. One more question, Steph?
Last question.
Last question is going to be from
Yesenia. That's my middle name, by the way.
Oh, wow. Hi.
Hi.
We can't see you, Yesenia.
So this is my first.
We can't see your
Oh,
pretty
because I
face.
look a hot mess. I look a hot mess, but it doesn't matter. This is my first time listening to you guys, and I think you're both amazing. And
thank you.
as a Latina, I know about working really hard. My hands are proof of it. I've been working really hard since I was 16. So, now I'm also getting closer to my 40s, and I'm getting closer to hitting my first million. But that's a different conversation. I think that I've been doing this by myself as a single woman for the last 2.5 years. I see couples doing it together, and I wonder, how is it that obviously a relationship is stressful, work is stressful. Can you give advice to people that are watching right now how to be able to successfully separate that and know how to separate that? Because I think oftentimes it's very difficult for people to not mix that together because it's so close and it's that important to one another. Do you have any advice or insight or pointers for anyone looking into going into a business venture with their romantic partner or even family member for that matter? Because the relationship is a relationship nonetheless,
Yeah. So I want to go first. So see, for me, I'm a firm believer that everything will fall into place. If you're a good person, you're a hard worker. Obviously, you have to make smart choices because you can't be emotional about everything, right? You have to be tactical. It has to make sense. And like, for example, him and I, see, it's different for you. So are you like dating right now? Is that what it is?
No, actually, I'm just curious because my question was different than this one, but I think the topic was for stress. And so I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to ask that, since being an entrepreneur that's doing this by myself, I guess one day, if that ever, if that's in the cards for me, how do you separate that? So
see, it's just going to depend because obviously there's so many things go into it, but him and I happen to be in the same industry. So, well, not the same industry. I got into real estate because of him, because I saw like a big giant check. It was like 16,000 something. 19,000 something. We went to go pick it up and I was like, damn, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a loan originator. I started as a realtor and I'm like, oh my God, I've always wanted to be a realtor. So long story short, I got into the industry. I was a waitress before that, but used to working a lot, picking up all the shifts while all my friends were partying. Like, I love money and I love working, and I don't like the feeling of not having money. So for me, I would take every shift, you name it. And around the holidays is when most waitresses and bartenders and people kind of disappear. So I would pick up all the shifts and I had no problem with that because I would make a lot of money in tips. So him and I just kind of grew together. So it's a little bit different, and I wouldn't really, if it's a solid partner, you know, I would wait a little bit. Obviously, you expose them to your business, but I wouldn't let them completely be involved unless they're bringing something solid to the table. And what I mean by that is him and I deal with a lot of couples, if you will, that go into business together. Or like, let's say it's, you know, a gentleman and he wants to bring his wife on board. And look, it can either work or it can be the end of that person. And the reason I say this is because some people are not meant for business. Some people, and there's nothing wrong with that, they have to stay at their corporate job while the entrepreneur handles the entrepreneur stuff, right? And you can't force people that aren't made for this world to be made for this world, right? So I'm telling you because I've seen it happen before, and I'm like, dude, this person was so much better off. Like, the wife should have stayed at her 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that, and let him be here handling the entrepreneur stuff. And it's really, really hard, but you just got to make good choices. You can't really let love, or like when you think you're in love or whatever, like sometimes it's okay to be separate as long as you can come together and he knows where you are, you know where you are, you guys talk about it. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in the same industry. Now, if he can help you grow your business in a way, then by all means, for sure, bring it together. Because like you said, relationships are stressful. They're a lot of work. Every day you got to work at it. And then when you start having kids, it's just a whole different ball game, you know? So I would be very tactical about that. And it's super stressful. And sometimes it's better to keep it separate. Always.
And also to add to it, if you work together, though, like me and her work together, but we're always in different places. We're never next to each other. I think
we like to be, but it doesn't always happen.
I think my biggest tip that has worked for us is not to be next to each other. Like if you work in the same company or industry or business, one could be in one corner and the other person could be in one corner.
I have my own office.
And we have different roles. and that way when we do get together, we have something to talk about. Oh, like this happened in my department. Oh, this happened in my department. And this is what I did. This is what you do. And you got to be able to separate and go put work separate. Because like when you're together all the time, you're stuck to doing the same thing all the time. So when, like, if she goes and works her 16 hours doing something and I work my 16 hours a day doing something else, now we got 32 combined hours of doing something different. And then we could get together. And when you're all together all the time, also, you tend to fight more and argue more about nonsense and get on each other's nerves. When you're apart, you get together and you want to go have some fun, have some good sex, and relax for the day.
Oh, God.
That must be great. Well, no, thank you. I figured it'd be insightful for anybody that is, you know, doing this as a solo person. And then, you know, at some given time, like, for example, the Playboys in the chat room, like Jeff and Arturo, who, you know, might one day do this stuff with someone of their dreams. Boys, I hope you took some notes. But I appreciate the insight. I appreciate the energy you put into this podcast. And, you know, I'd love to pick your brain whenever, you know, we get a chance to meet.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you coming tomorrow, Jasenia? Are you coming to Driven tomorrow?
Well, I'm getting my eggs frozen early. I mean, not getting them frozen. I'm getting my blood work done and my ultrasound for my egg freezing because, of course, I'm planning for my future as I'm getting older. Good. Congratulations on the pregnancy, by the way.
Thank you.
So depending on that, Jeff, yes. And if there's a ticket for me and I can get it, of course, I'll fly out and show how driven I am.
Yeah. And remember, a lot of people try to force the whole power couple stuff. I'm like, you just can't force things. You know, sometimes
gotta let it be.
Yeah.
It's God's time.
Exactly. But nice to talk to you. She's so cute.
Nice to talk to you both.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. So thank you for being in this episode. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Remember, next week's episode is in Spanish. And it'll be a new topic. And then Steph, reach out to Yesenia and so you could help her get her ticket. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. We'll see you guys at Driven.
After Driven.
Oh, just one quick thing. There's a pair. I don't know if it's still available, but there's a pair of CEO tickets. If some of you are watching this or if you watch it later, There's a pair, a couple couldn't make it from international. So reach out if you want them, if they're still available. I'm not sure, but I think they are. So reach out. These are the tickets that allow you to come tomorrow here to our headquarters. So you'll be literally right here and in our headquarters, so the entire floor. And we're going to go over like the operations, all our entire headquarters. And then we're going to process a lot of business issues. So we have, I think, 90 CEOs that are going to be here. And we're going to go over their business and we're going to process their issues that they're having and find solutions. And we're going to have experts here along myself and my wife to help all these business owners process issues. This is a kind of like a higher level day, Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, the main event, Driven 6 starts. So I'll see you guys tomorrow or next weekend. And if not, I'll see you guys next Driven Couples.
Bye.
Bye.